Oh, hi, gang! Hey, hello, super hello, and a big fat fucking hello, doo doo doo, pa! How are you all doing? Hi, gang, come on in, welcome in, welcome. If it's your first time, and if it's not your first time, you know, cunt piss poo bags, you know the drill. Um, Hi, how are you, guys and girls and NBs, all the people, everything in between, the whole, how are you, all of the spectrum of humanity? How are you all doing? I hope you are bloody, cocksuckingly, ass-eatingly, piss-drinkingly, pussy-poundingly, cock-gobblingly, dick-wigglingly, bull-bustingly, good. I hope you're all good. Wonderful. Magic, bloody magic. Super wonderful, bloody... Me? Oh! I wasn't expecting you to ask how I'm doing. People rarely do. That's not true. Oh, you know... That's about how I'm doing. I am straight up not having a good time, ladies and gentlemen. I barely sleep. I mean, I barely sleep as it is, but even less so these days. I'm a bit of a mess. It's the state of the world, basically. You know, I do find myself in later years. I think as the years progress, I get more and more sort of empathetic and understanding and sensitive to things. You could call it woke. I get more and more woke as time passes, which is to say, I get more and more sort of aware and emotionally aware of inequality and iniquity and troubles in the world, and you know, sensitive to people's feelings and things they're going through and these sorts of things. And the current goings on are fucking me up because of that. They are actually fucking me up. It's in my head. It's so fucked. Everything's, you know, with Nazis killing people in the street, with the release of certain files, certain lists of people, and none of it is like revelatory. Any of the stuff you see, I'm not going like, oh, I can't believe this is happening, but it's confirmation. It's, oh, it is happening, and it's not just happening, it's actually worse. And it's worse because you're seeing it. Hearing about it is one thing, knowing it's in the background somewhere is one thing, but seeing it, actually seeing evidence, sometimes the visual evidence of it is a whole separate thing, it turns out. And it's a difficult one because, like, I want to stay informed, at least to some degree, because I very rarely search this stuff out. I'm not looking up what's the latest drop on the Epstein files. I'm not doing that, but like other people post shit and I see it, and like I say, I want to know what's going on because these are important things that are happening, and I feel it's not a duty to know, but like you should know. Because there are sides, there is a good side and there is a bad side, and it's important to know what the bad side is doing so you're able, as best you can, if possible, to fight against it. But so I want to know at least to some degree what's going on, but then every new thing I see is the worst thing ever. You think you've seen the worst shit, the worst news, the new worst thing ever that's happening in the world. And then you wake up the next day and there's the next new worst fucking thing ever that's happening in the world. If it's genocide or it's Nazis in the streets or it's fucking pedophiles in every fucking corner of people running shit. And it's just, I'm legitimately, no word of a lie, I struggle to sleep unless my body just basically physically shuts down. Because it, my head can't get over it. You know, I have a very, as you know, I'm a very visually oriented person. I have a very vivid imagination. It generates images. My brain's like an AI image generator, but good. So if I hear about something, I have a picture of it in my head. If I see something, I have, you know, my brain turns images into moving images. And it has quite a good sense of like, if it sees something, my brain automatically, without trying to, it generates the like a more outside sort of scene of what's going on. So if this is an image, my brain goes, oh, that's happening within this, and this is what probably happened leading up to it, and this is probably what happened after that as a result of the actions taking place. So my head builds all these scenes, and it's constant. It's fucking constant. Just this shit. And to the point where I'm like, I've started drinking a lot more because I'm like, well, I can't sleep. I've been up for 36 hours and I can't sleep. I'll take a couple more shots of whiskey and maybe that'll tire me out and I'll get some sleep. Because it's fucked. Because it's just fucked. And so I'm drawing Spongebob. Oh, hey, never mind. Hey, it's Spongebob. Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza absolutely. Krusty Krab pizza, pizza. Krusty Krab, hey, pizza. Is the pizza, yeah, for you and me. Because as well as not being able to sleep and just it's fucked, my head's fucked because of it all. I'm feeling and have felt for the last several months. I've had a great deal of difficulty staying inspired and staying motivated, and that's one of the problems because everything happening is bad and we know it's bad and it gets worse and it's worse and it's worse. That's bad enough. It's the most vile, horrendous, deplorable shit ever, and that's bad enough. On top of that, the rest of us just have to carry on. Like, we just have to keep, because I've got to just keep working, and you all have to just keep working, keep your bills paid, keep your rent paid, pay your bills, keep everything going. Got to just carry on, not in a way that like pretend it's not happening, but in amongst all of that and alongside all of that, you have to just keep working, keep making money, keep paying bills, keep paying taxes, and all that money funnels up to the fucking people in charge. And nothing's going to get fixed because the people who are supposed to fix it are the people who are on the lists, who are in the files, who are killing people in the streets. And we're just supposed to carry on. Oh, hey, does anyone want to buy a little Spongebob? Oh, he's cute, isn't he? Do you want to buy a Spongebob, anyone? Hey, I've got some new art for sale if anyone wants some new art. And there is an argument to be made of like, well, this is sort of when art is the most needed in times of strife. And yes, The issue there, of course, is the artwork that pays my bills is draw this anime character, draw this D&D character, draw Batman, draw a Death Guard, which is... I am not remotely complaining that that's the artwork I have to do to pay my bills, because that's great. But like, with everything happening in the world, I'm just supposed to draw an anime character, draw Batman. And it's just... it's very difficult to keep it going. I am trying, but it's a struggle. Oh, look at the little spongy boy. Spongy boy, spongy man, spongy sponge, as spongy as you can. Lives in a pineapple under the sea. He's my best friend. And so we're drawing Spongebob. Now this, right, all of that, I didn't want to start on a depressing note, but I'm depressed. So that's what you get, yeah? You friendly folk that I love very, very much. Look, I'm even going to add some little love hearts above him, just because SpongeBob is love. This is about all I've got. Look, it's tiny. This is my thumbs. It's a thumbnail sketch. This is a thumbnail sketch. Look. It's a. I was going to draw a penis, but it's fucking shit. This is about all I can manage. What I thought was, I'll do a little bit of drawing. I'll do some little. I'll just do a little drawing. I'll just do a little drawing, yeah? And that's what we're doing. It's a little one today. We're just doing some little drawings today. Just some little drawings today. That's what we're doing. We're just doing some little drawings. We've done SpongeBob. I guess we should do his friend, shouldn't we? Everyone needs a friend. Everyone needs a friend. Bobbly wobbly squibbly squabbly. Everyone needs a friend. Whoever the friend, a bib of the bend. Kick myself in the bell end because of the wonderful sponge he was. We're off to see the SpongeBob. Spongety Spob. That's how I'm doing at the moment. I'm doing that. So this is what I can manage today. We're just. I am going to be doing because it's important to know. I'm going to be doing a Q&A thing with a surprise in it. To celebrate 20,000 YouTube subscribers, which is, that's a cool thing I achieved. Didn't really achieve it, it happened. Because I haven't really tried to get that many subscribers. It just kind of happened. Because I'm better than actual YouTubers, because I don't constantly bitch and moan. Make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure you share it with your friends so I can get more. There's no need for me to be like that. And I mean, when I say there's no need for me to be like that, there's no need for me to sit here and bitch and complain. Oh, other YouTubers constantly. There's no need for me to be like that. Why don't I just shut up and be happy that apparently 20,000 people felt my YouTube channel was worth subscribing to. which, it's not nothing. I don't know if I have spoken about it. I know I spoke about it to a couple of people, and because of that, like, how you'll say something to someone and then it might come up in conversation again, but then you can't remember if you've already said it to these people or if it was to the other people. If you're talking to your other bitches, girls love that one, don't they? Oh, it must be another bitch that you were talking to about that. Girls are wonderful, and I'm not speaking ill of them. It's just and sometimes they are talking to other bitches, and that's not cool. I get that but here with Patreon, no, YouTube podcast with the podcast. I get that with the podcast, where the podcast. Do you like how I pronounce that? Where I can't remember if I said something on the podcast or if I said it to a friend or if I was talking to the fucking clerk at the post office. I don't know who I was sharing this with. So if I've already spoken about it, I apologize. I did, and this is what I was leading on to say, was I did very, very briefly have my channel monetized just to see what happened, see if it affected anything. Evidently it did, because a couple of people commented / messaged to be like, have you monetized your channel? Like, out of nowhere, which means they're obviously started seeing more ads on or around my videos, which, as I've said, that's one of the main reasons I have not wanted to monetize my channel, because I don't want to do that. I don't, but they're going to advertise anyway, so you may as well take some of them. No, I don't want a hand in it. I want to absolve myself of that horse duty. And I think in a couple of months, I made about £60. And then they wanted me to confirm my address. And then to confirm your address, they make you jump through all these fucking hoops. To confirm my address, they were going to send me a bit of paper in the post with a code on it. And then I email that code to prove that I have received that at my home address, to prove that and I was just like, fucks, I don't care enough to do all that shit. Fuck you. I don't want to do it. And so I just didn't do that. And then after a certain amount of time, they stopped monetizing my channel. And occasionally I get notifications to say, don't forget to confirm your address so you can monetize your channel. And I just can't be fucked. So monetization has stopped. I haven't even gotten that £60 that I made. I'm technically not owed, but like there's £60 that I should be able to access, but won't, because who fucking cares? And I'm not acting like, oh, it's only £60. I don't need that. I'm above that, because there are many, 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 many times, even to this day, where if I suddenly had £60, it would be very, very useful. So I'm not saying, oh, £60 is nothing, because to some people, including myself, £60 can be a very helpful amount of money to have. But it's blood money as far as I'm concerned. Advertising revenue. Ugh. Puh, puh. Have you seen Squid Game? Have you seen season 2 of Squid Game? Because he won, didn't he? He won the first one, and then he got all the money, and he had this big pile of money on his bed. Just a fucking huge pile of fucking money on his fucking bed. But he wouldn't spend it on just like normal stuff. Because it was blood money, because it came from death, from games of death. And so he didn't want to spend. And that's how I'd feel with that £60 from YouTube advertising funds or revenues or whatever the fuck. It's blood money. I don't want it. So last week, I think it was last week. Recently, I was slaying about the place. Slaying here, slaying there, slaying bloody everywhere. With Slain, Lord of Misrule. That's this one. I have this book as well as the other ones that I showed, which also has hand-painted Slain comics in it. And this is one I've had for about as long as I've had the previous ones I showed, with Glenn Fabry and whatnot in them. And I very rarely looked at it, and I really should look at it more, because the artist, for the large part, is Greg Staples. And I've spoken about Greg Staples a fair amount, not loads, but a little bit here and there. Judge Dredd. I painted a Judge Dredd. I spoke about it and a fucking thing and there was a Greg Staples like fucking video or so, whatever. And so I had a quick flip through this for the first time in I don't know how many years, and I was like, oh shit, man, there's some really fucking good artwork. Why don't I fucking give it some time? Actually look at the shit. Because that's fucking cool, innit? That's good, that shit. Painterly, detailed. It's not painterly, but it's painted and it's detailed and it's dark and brooding in the woods. Some good shit. Some very, very, very good shit. I'm going to try not to repeat myself too much, but here and there it's going to happen. It falls into the bracket of like, this looks a lot like The Horned God by Simon Bisley. But as previously said, if you're doing a hand-painted Slain comic around this sort of time in 2000 AD, it's going to look like Simon Bisley's The Horned God. And if you're painting comics at all, it's going to look like Simon Bisley. But then Simon Bisley's work looks like, you know, the European comic book artist painters that he was influenced by. So it's all... But what you hope happens, and what I have said has happened with Greg Staples, is they start off all looking like that. And this is true realistically of almost all comic book artists. They start off looking a certain way, like the standard. They start looking like Simon Bisley, but then they do it enough. They get more comfortable doing it. They develop their skills and their techniques and their eye for it. They get given more freedom to, you know, work in different avenues, in different ways. And their work becomes much more their own and starts to look less like Simon Bisley and more like, in this case, Greg Staples. This is the page, I remember specifically, this is the page that made me buy this entire book. Because I was flipping through it in the shop. And I saw this and I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Very similar to the previous one where it was the Glenn Fabry page. The specific page by Glenn Fabry, the warp spasm with the stretching thing and the fucking burn the eye and the mouth and the shit, and that was not necessarily the page that made me buy that book, but this one, I saw this page and I was like, that's really fucking cool. I like that a lot, and I do. It's a really cool, just big fucking monster that I guess this cult is calling master. Great textures and lighting, great shapes, good character, and like bones with skin stretching over it. Good lighting with the spray paint, with the underlighting, and the page overall, because it's one big panel with some insert panels atop of that, sort of dividing it. But this, you know, it's all one thing. That's really, really fucking cool. What a joy. And the rest of it's good too, I guess. That's I don't know. I would say that looks really like Bisley. Certain bits look more like Simon Bisley's than others. That's fucking gorgeous. And not just he's clearly a gorgeous man, but like the painting. Really nicely like mirrored here of like, I don't know if Slane is stuck inside this stone carving or something. Or he's being sort of astrally projected into it by some wizard or something. So this is Slane's face in the stonework in amongst the leaves, like the green man with the leaves on his face and stuff. And then it's quite interesting as well, because obviously when this was initially published, it's like 6 to 8 pages at a time in the 2000 AD magazine, and then next week there'll be the next 6 pages, and then the next, and it builds into this big book. And so this would be the end of that story for that week. You'd see this, and then you get the next one, and you can tell it's the next one because it's got the title and the credits or whatever. You open up, and this is what you see carrying on from this, and it's a really nice sort of like, not mirroring as such, but like a continuation, and to go from the stone to the live flesh little ladybug. I used the Americanism because here we call them ladybirds, which seems a bit weird. On most things, I'm like, no, the British call them the correct names because it's English and we invented it. We didn't strictly invent it, but it's whatever. But with that, I'm like, yeah, no, ladybug sort of makes more sense because ladybird, they're not fucking birds, are they? They're bugs. Why would you call it a ladybird? You fucking... But that's just a fantastic fucking painting. It's so good. Almost seamless of like... A lot of Bisley stuff, you look at it and go, oh, okay, I can see how he painted that. Like, but this, I'm like, well, how the fuck did he paint that? The blending isn't, perfect, like blended oils with glazes and stuff, but it's close to that. His sharp features and the fullness of his lips, the stabbing glare of his eyes, the textures with the stubble and everything, the shadowing, the leaves around. It's such a nice fucking painting. And like I was saying with Fabry's stuff, some of it, it's like, how is that a comic book panel? Like, comic books are these dumb fucking... I know they're not always, but they're these dumb fucking throwaway shit things. Especially 2000 AD, we get 6 pages of a story a week, which is ridiculous. Like, I don't hate it, but it's ridiculous. And that's a piece of fine art. It's a portrait. There's a finely painted portrait, and it's just a page of a comic book, and then you flip to the next one. And that's one of the reasons I really try to, like, why I look at comics like in this way with you and share them with you, is to give time to these moments and really appreciate the art, because I've said it time and time again, especially with regards to like Gun Viking and stuff. When people read comics, it's just, if you're reading this page, like, oh, this is like, a prologue just leading into it, and you go, oh, okay, it's a picture of Slane's face, I'll go to the next page, and then you read the text, and you see the images, and the images sort of work with the text, and they describe, they illustrate the text. So you go, oh, okay, people talking, and there's this and that, sure. But it's such a shame that something like this could just be flipped past. And I'm not saying that for everyone. Obviously, a lot of people out there do appreciate the art of comics, which is why there are art books and people buy the original artwork and whatever. But I try to give them at least some of the time that they deserve, because that's a comic book page. It's ridiculous. Anyway, people talking, bunch of shit. This is really cool. I love this. I love the texture of it, the solidity the plasticity of it. And then the red sort of blend, I assume blood, but I don't know, into his mouth and hair and cheeks. And the sort of the glossiness, the wetness of like saliva in his teeth and stuff, and the glint in his eye. But then like the almost dead looking pallid flesh and the lank hair and stuff. It's a really nice, that's a nice panel. I love these like minimalist panels as well. Cloaked figure walking through out of a darkened room into the light. Oh, there was a really good one back here I meant to point out, actually. A couple of here. I love panels with almost nothing going on. Mignola is really good for that. You almost can't see really what's happening, but there's very, very tiny little figures holding a torch in a stone-walled sort of stairway. I guess they're at the top of a tower and they're walking down, because then they're down here, tiny little figures holding a torch, and then they're coming down some stairs and there's a door. Again, stone walls and floors and things. And that's such a great, like, few panels to describe them walking down, I assume, like a long spiral staircase down a tower with a torch, and it's in the dark, so that's all you can see. I think that's fantastic, frankly. More people talking, cool action pose. That is a cool action pose as well. Over the knee and then the foot. The foot is bent so like, almost doesn't look like you could actually bend your foot like that, but you can. Shit's cool, yo. There's a few parts in this where I feel like, you know, at the beginning, where it's quite dark. There are some pages where I feel it's almost too dark. It's almost to the detriment of the artwork. And not to say, like in The Horned God, there's a bunch of battle scenes that have almost like just a straight like cobalt or cerulean blue background for like the sky or whatever, and all the details and everything else are painted so like almost bright and vividly and clearly. You can see every little detail of what's going on. And here it's almost the opposite, where I don't know, maybe it's at night time, so it's going to be darker, but there's almost too much shadow and you lose detail and stuff. But then maybe that's the point. I'm not, you know, that was his artistic vision. But then it could be a thing with the printing where it comes out a bit darker. There's any number of reasons. So I accept that it's darker, but I might prefer it just to be just a touch lighter. There's a really good range of not styles, but like it's not just dark all the way through. There are lighter panels, and then there's like more monotone, monochromatic panels. He does good portraits, some good action shots, good use of like lots of little panels for talking, big single panels for action, and then stuff like this where you can see just ink pen lines with more like watery washes of paint with heavier paint here and there. It's a good mix of stuff. It doesn't get boring. And then you've got these, which I guess are like, if she's looking through a book, there's like ye olde illustrations in a book or whatever. And that's a nice sort of approximation of those kinds of like old illuminated text illustrations and things. That's a cool painting of Ukko. Do enjoy a good Ukko. I feel like this is one where if you're given this as a task to do, you purposely give yourself a lot of space just to paint a really fucking cool picture of Ukko. There's glare on his face. Oh no, that's cool. Again, just a touch dark, but if you can see it, there's good detail and texture, like the veins and stuff in his neck and arms and things. Good texture in the clothing, the fur, and the wrinkles in his shirt and pants. Cool pose, quite strong. Big chunky hands and nose and ears. Like, I'd relish this. I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to take up almost fully half a page with just this painting of Ukko and then slain heads just in the background somewhere, blabbing away. And more sort of interesting techniques. I think this is almost certainly like quicker. Some of those kinds of pages, which I point out quite a lot, of like minimal paint. You can see the ink lines, so he's not like layering the paint up. He's just a couple of washes, a couple of layers where you need to add in some details. Just spray paint to give some texture to it, and minimal color, minimal painting. It's just people talking, get it out of the way. But then this is really interesting. These animals or spirits or whatever, this sprayed sort of mist. I don't know if it's smoke from the fire or whatever, but it's very, very interesting panels. And then you've got King of the Green Wood. Badass. Slain, masked up. I love these kinds of panels. Like, a good establishing shot is cool. And it's cool to see details, like a really, not overly detailed, but you know, pages or panels or whatever that just have a bunch of details in them. Obviously, you get something like anything Jeff Darrow makes, you know, Hard Boiled or whatever, where it's just every square millimeter of the page is packed with as much detail as possible, which is cool. But then in something like this, where probably for time constraints, not every panel can be like that. So every now and then when you get a little, like, just an establishing shot to give an idea of where they're at and what's going on. You've got the pig's head on a plate, carrots and meat and mugs of ale and stuff and shit in the background. Like, it's nice. It's nice to have a nice packed establishing shot and then talking heads. That's really fucking nice. You can see where he puts just a little extra time into certain things here and there. I guess this guy's strung up and he's beaten and bloodied. He's got a swollen eye and blood coming from his head. The texture, the lighting, just the way it's painted, that's a pretty spectacular panel. And to be in amongst some like grey tone panels, little bits of colour here and there, yeah, that's really, really nice. Has ever so slight Jim Murray vibes in sort of the rendering of it, but still staying, you know, as Greg Staples' artwork. A horse! We love a horse. That's a good horse. Good rear end of the horse. A lot of it obscured by the cape, but enough of it on show that it looks real fucking nice. Some more minimal panels, get those out of the way. A good warp spasm slain. Probably can't show the ass and tits because I keep getting flagged for adult content. Isn't that fun? But that's good. We love that. A nice, it's like Hulk. It's the Incredible Slain Hulk. Just wild. His eyes bulging, his veins bulging, just killing. A baby? Is that a baby slain? Maybe? I don't know. That's really good. That's a really nice kiss scene. It actually is really, really nicely done. Like, it feels, there's a real tenderness and a real sensitivity to it. They're not like showing the tongues and the saliva and like making a big thing of like, but like the way they're sort of, you can see her thumb here, they're obviously cupping each other's faces. It's a very gentle, loving kiss, and it's really well painted as well. The lighting here, where the light of her hair, which is really nicely done actually, the detail and stuff in the hair sort of fades into blackness, into shadow here, and then the rim lighting solidifies the shape of the head, and then the highlighting on Slane's hair just enough to give it detail and volume together. And then, you know, the rendering of their faces and hands and stuff, the texture of like knuckles and things. Shadows, they're just really, really nicely done. I really do enjoy that. That's pretty fucking grand. More minimal panels, about as minimal as you can get. Some of these very effective for telling the story. I don't want to skip past them in a way that's like, oh, more of those, get those shits out of the way, because then I'm doing exactly what I've said I dislike that people might do. I'm appreciating them for what they are, but you know, I can't sit here and I can sit here and just spend hours looking at every individual panel, but I won't. That's cool. Good grey tones. You do like the grey tones. That's a really badass painting of like the mask of the King of the Greenwood. Is that what it was? The King of the... Was it Lord of the Flies? King of the Greenwood? Lord of my Greenwood? King of the Greenwood, yeah. But there's the stitchings in the mask and stuff, the texture of it, the bloodied knife, the horns, and the sort of rim lighting, but it's still in darkness. That's real nice, real nice. And then there's this, which this bugged me for several reasons. See, I love the drawings in this by Clint Langley. I think I've seen a bunch of his work. I really do like the drawings. I think they're fantastic. I love the texture of them. He puts so much like just little just lines here and there. The fur has really great texture. Rough surfaces just look really like rough. But for me, for this strip in particular, the color is just too digital. And like digital color is used, you know, everywhere in comics, but sometimes better, sometimes worse. But like that's a fantastic drawing. That's really nice. I would just, you know, it's got the sort of digital glow, blurring effects and things, like digital glow in his eyes. And frankly, I'd rather see just the black and white ink drawings than, you know, Photoshop blur effect, Photoshop lighting effects, color blending on a computer. Like it feels so separate. Like just because it feels, the colors feel really washy with like the digital blurring, digital color, digital textures in the background, I think, and then these like glowing eyes added in digitally. I'm sick of the word digital already. And I just feel like that really takes me out of it. It doesn't feel great, but the drawings are so good. I just can't get past this, like the digital blur of it all. And these kinds of pages especially, like digital fire effects added in, blurred edges of pages and of panels, and I don't know how much of it is either added in digitally or just really blurred digitally. But it's so frustrating because you go from this, like this incredible, like tactile, solid feeling painting, to this digital mess, kind of. Is it a separate colorist, or is, I don't want to, I think I just said art by Clint Langley. Oh, colors by Clint Langley and Dondi Cox. So two people did the colors, the artist and someone else. I'm really not into it, which bugs me because that's so fucking cool. But then there's like leaves added in Photoshop, somewhat opaque or translucent, blurred on a computer, and the digital fire effect just doesn't feel right. But that's so good. But it could be better. I really would rather look at just black and white ink work than that. It's a shame. It's a big shame. But I mean, come on. Like I say, I don't hate it. I'm not flipping through these pages saying this is shit because of the digital color. It's just not as enjoyable as it would be otherwise because of the digital color. Because that's fucking fantastic. Now imagine that, but painted. That would be so fucking good. I mean, come on. That's great. But it's just the colour. I don't even like the colours in that, to be honest. I don't know necessarily what I'd do differently, but I really dislike the richness of the blue. Just feels a bit. But the drawing's fucking sick. Now, so I don't know if I ever knew that this last bit was even in the book until I flipped through it the other day. And I was like, wait, what is that? No way, that's not, it can't be. But it bloody is. Jim Murray. There's a 6-page Jim Murray strip in here. And I don't think I ever knew that. And I've had this book for years. And like, I don't have a lot of Jim Murray's artwork in print. I've got like, there's that Batman Demon little book, which is very, very thin. His Batman Dread crossover. And then like a Judge Dredd strip here, a couple of other bits there. Very, very little of his stuff that I've got. And apparently I had this and I didn't even know. Or maybe I did and I just completely forgot about it. But he fights like a 3-headed Cerberus hellhound. And it's fantastic. I don't feel like it's Jim Murray's best work ever, but it is really fucking good. He chops off one of the heads, and this one's still snarling, and this one's looking at the severed neck like, and then that fucking wild face there. The claws are really fucking good. And Jim Murray's rendering of like solid objects, skin and shit. And the way he uses texture for like walls and things, like he's obviously laid down just really thick, I don't know, gesso or whatever, like a primer, and then waited for it to dry and then painted over it. Partly with airbrush, he uses quite a lot, I think. Maybe not in this one so much, but and a fantastic warp spasm. It doesn't feel as sort of spasm and mutated as it could. It just looks like a bit of a gnarly slain. But even so, it looks fucking great. The rendering of the skin, the like underlighting here, the rim lighting there, different tones of light, and the way the skin's painted, all the like tendons and veins and shit, the red bloodied hand, fantastic pose as he's just destroying all these people. And then some talking heads and talking heads and talking heads. Those are a couple of really good Ukko faces, though. That's just a great little face with the rim lighting and stuff. It does get to the point of like, how has he done? How are you painting like that in a comic? And then this one with the double lighting, which really does like. It's not exactly like that, but really all you have to do is blend a bit of shadow roughly in the middle, paint the face as you normally would, and then basically do that in a different color on the other side, and it gives you this double lighting effect, which gives so much like solidity to an object. Like if you paint a face like that, just adding in just a different color of lighting here adds a huge amount to like the physical feeling of what it is you're painting. That's one thing I learned from I think early like Bisley and Fabry comics is just that. Just a bit of blue on the side of the face really, really fucking enhances shit. I couldn't strictly say why I felt Spongebob was the thing to draw in this instance of feeling however it is I'm feeling. I think I was just thinking small things like I'm going to do some small drawings. What's small? And my brain went to SpongeBob because he's just a little sponge. He's just a little sponge. And he just lives in the pineapple in the sea. And, you know, he's easily accessible as well. It's not like everyone can appreciate a little drawing of SpongeBob. In these trying times, I think everyone can appreciate a little wee teeny SpongeBob. And what more can I really give to the world than that? It's my job as an artist to draw teeny tiny SpongeBobs for all those suffering right now. Be like one of those, I don't know, like infomercials or whatever. Are you tired, suffering? Do you struggle to sleep? Are you kept awake at night by the horrors of the world and its inhabitants? Here's a tiny SpongeBob, you fuck! Eat it! Fucking eat it! Take this page out of the book, screw it up, fucking eat it, you bitch! You fucking superfluous use of swear words. There you go from my previous episode, good swears and bad swears. Any time Ewan says anything, it's a bad swear. So, you know, as stated before, what do you draw when you don't know what to draw? You draw some fucking skulls. Look at that. They're tiny little... It's nearly as big as my penis. Oh, I have a very tiny penis. I was going to... I'm bored of whatever the fuck it was I was going to talk about. Hey, shall we do just a tiny teeny little... we'll do a flesh bob. We did a Spongebob, so let's do just a little flesh bob. But let's draw the little sort of rectangular sort of shape that he is. But because Fleshbob's almost like a sort of inverted version of Spongebob, so let's draw him upside down. That'd be weird and funny, wouldn't it? Oh, is he upside down? What's he doing? Why is Fleshbob hanging up upside down? This is fucking weird and silly. I don't even know if I can draw him upside down. I don't know if I tried that before. It's weird. This feels very strange. Painting Fleshbob upside down like this. I don't know where to put his arms. Just put them outwards. I guess that works. Sure, that'll do. There's a little wee willy winky. Should it be forward? Yeah, it should be forwards. That'd do it. We'll fill in the rest in a little bit. That's about all I've got. I really, you know, that's literally almost. That's about all I've got in me. Is that our whole thing? I was going to do talking about Van Gogh or Van Gogh, depending on how you choose to pronounce that. But I might save that for I might do a whole episode, because I really want to not just go, oh, look, Van Gogh's good, isn't he? Oh, he painted some flowers and shit. But I really want to sort of get into what I feel is some of the tragedy of his life that doesn't seem to really be properly portrayed in sort of documentaries and things when they talk about him. They sort of romanticize his mental illness and stuff. So, oh, he was depressed, but that gave us Starry Night. And it's like, yeah, but he was fucking very, very unwell. And not just like, oh, obviously he cut his ear off. He fucking nutcase. Like, no, he was suffering a great deal, with not just mental but physical, neurological issues. And people just say, oh, he was depressed and he wasn't appreciated in his time. And I think I have some stuff to say about that. And I felt like, oh, I could say that here. I sort of had in my head, I've got like a tiny little Van Gogh portrait. We could draw a tiny little Vincent Van Gogh. But like I said, I don't know, I might save that for its own fucking video podcast episode, something. Most of what I have to say about it is, no, I can't even be fucked, actually. I think if I start talking about it, it's just going to be me saying all this shit I had to say, and then it's going to be a full hour of me fucking banging on and on about goddamn Vincent stupid Van Gogh. That's not actually how I view him, by the way. I'm you all know I'm a fan. He's like one of the very, very few pieces of art I have on my walls is a painting of Van Gogh that I tore out of a book that I showed on the fucking thing. He's a little upside down Fleshbob. He's standing on his head. I mean, his whole body is basically his head, isn't it? So it's not really... Anywhere he's standing is going to be on his head, pretty much. His little penis is hanging down. He's a funny guy. Just a bit of a laugh at it. I think I could sort of... I've done small drawings before. I did some goblins that were like the size of coins and a few little pieces like that. And I do quite like doing just small drawings just for the fun of it. And I think, like I say, right now, this feels like, outside of commissions and stuff, this feels about what I can manage. And so that's what I'm doing. And, you know, maybe I'm not in a position to give advice, but like, yeah, I am. I've got 20,000 subscribers. You should hang on every single word I say. You should be listening to me and doing everything I say to do. You don't have to fill up a whole sketchbook page to feel like you've done something. Because I know that's how it can be with art. Sometimes you're like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not creating enough. I'm not, the algorithms. I've got to put out more work. It's like, you could just draw just a tiny little guy. Just a tiny little naked, fleshy pink version of Spongebob. And he's on his head now. What's he doing on his head? He's gonna get a headache, isn't he? He's gonna feel dizzy. He's gonna spin around, pee everywhere. He's gonna piss in a spiral. Which would be quite exciting to see, actually. I'll tune in for that. Um, yeah, things are hard right now. And that I say all of this like, oh, I'm feeling really bad. I can't sleep, and it's in my head. And I am so like separate from most of all of that shit. I mean, I'm part of the human race, and therefore, if it's happening to one of us, it's happening to all of us. Unless it's happening to the rich, in which case they deserve it, because fuck them, literally fuck them into the dirt. Fuck them. But I'm aware that I come from at least where I am currently, as opposed to where all the bad shit's happening. I'm in a slight place of comfort and privilege comparatively. And so I can sit here and go, no, it's bad. It makes me sad. I understand shit is hard out there. Shit is like insane out there for some people. It's unfair. It's ridiculous. And my heart is with those suffering through these things currently. Eat the rich. Let's actually do that. But this is my realm. This is my little world. This is what I have control over. And so this is what I can do right now. And if this is all you can do right now, then that's good. Spread a little bit of love with a little bit of Spongebob. Just a little. If all you can do is just a little bit, then that's something. You're doing something. And hopefully that can keep you, moving at least. Hi.